This story didn't scream for attention, but TH signs were always there, you just need to look closer. This is hidden witness. I think something has been using my house after midnight. I used to think my house was empty after midnight. I was wrong, because for 3 weeks someone or something had been using my house while I slept. The strange part wasn't the footsteps. It wasn't the doors opening by themselves. It wasn't even the objects that kept moving. The strange part was that every morning, the house looked like someone had been living in it. A chair would be pulled away from the table. A glass would be sitting beside the sink. The bathroom mirror would be covered in steam. And sometimes, I would find a second set of footprints in the hallway. But the worst discovery came one morning when I found something in my kitchen that I had never bought. A child's drawing, and written underneath it were 5 words. "Thank you for letting me in." A terrified woman standing in a dark modern house hallway at exactly 2:47 a.m., bedroom doors open behind her, faint shadow of an unknown figure disappearing around a corner, digital clock glowing 2:47 a.m., moonlight through windows, cinematic supernatural horror, photorealistic dramatic shadows, 16:9, no text. I had lived alone for almost 2 years. My house wasn't old. It wasn't abandoned. It wasn't supposed to be haunted. It was just a normal 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood. The first strange thing happened on a Tuesday. I woke up around 2:47 a.m. I couldn't explain why. I just suddenly opened my eyes. The bedroom was dark. I heard something downstairs. A cupboard closing. I assumed I'd left it open. I got out of bed and walked downstairs. The kitchen was empty, but one of the dining chairs was pulled away from the table. I pushed it back. Then I noticed something else. The back door was unlocked. I always locked it before going to bed. I checked the security system. It hadn't recorded anyone entering. I told myself I must have forgotten. Then I went back upstairs. I didn't think about it again. Until the next morning. The chair was pulled out again. Quiet suburban house at night, exterior under pale moonlight, one upstairs window glowing, empty street, unsettling stillness, cinematic psychological horror, photorealistic 16:9. Over the next few days, little things started changing. A glass would appear on the counter. The television would be switched to a different channel. Cabinet doors would be open. The hallway light would be on. None of these things were dramatic. That's what made them frightening. If something had broken a window, I would have called the police. If someone had stolen something, I would have installed cameras. But these things felt personal, like whoever was doing them didn't want me to know they were there. One morning, I found muddy footprints near the back door. Only 2 footprints. One left, one right, then nothing. I checked outside. There was no mud anywhere around the house. That was when I bought a camera. I pointed it toward the kitchen. And that night, I finally got an answer. Morning kitchen in a quiet home, chair mysteriously pulled away from dining table, half-full glass of water beside sink, homeowner staring in confusion, subtle eerie atmosphere, photorealistic cinematic horror, 16:9. The camera recorded all night. At 2:47 a.m., the kitchen light switched on. The dining chair moved. Slowly, not falling, not sliding because of the floor. It moved as if someone had pulled it out. Then the camera stopped recording for exactly 11 seconds. When it started again, the chair was pushed back, and a glass of water was sitting on the table. I watched the footage over and over. There was nobody visible. No person. No shadow. Nothing. But something had definitely moved that chair. Then I noticed a detail I hadn't seen before. At the very end of the recording, someone had written something on the fogged kitchen window. 3 words. I live here. I didn't sleep that night. Close-up of a security camera monitor showing a dark kitchen at 2:47 a.m., empty dining room, a chair slowly moving by itself, eerie night vision, subtle shadow in background, cinematic found footage horror, 16:9. My house had 3 bedrooms. I used one. The second was my office. The third had been empty since I moved in. I rarely entered it. After seeing the footage, I decided to put another camera there. Nothing happened the first night. Nothing happened the second. On the third night, the camera recorded movement. At 3:11 a.m., the closet door opened. Slowly. Then a small object rolled out. A red toy car. I didn't own a toy car. The next morning, I checked the room. The toy car was sitting in the center of the floor. I picked it up. There was something written underneath it. A name. M.I.Z. I searched the house records. Nothing. Then I searched old property information online. And that's when I discovered something that made my stomach drop. The previous owners had a daughter. Her name was Mia. She had died when she was 7. Dark, unused bedroom in a modern house, old children's toys mysteriously arranged neatly on the floor, closet door slightly open, moonlight entering through window, eerie supernatural mystery, photorealistic cinematic 16:9. I contacted the previous owner. I didn't tell him about the cameras. I simply asked about Mia. There was a long silence. Then he said, "Why are you asking?" I told him I'd found an old toy. He became quiet again. Finally, he said, "Get rid of it." I asked why. His answer was simple. Because she never liked being alone. I felt cold. I asked him what he meant. He told me Mia had died in the house. After that, strange things started happening. Doors opening. Footsteps. Toys moving. The family eventually moved away. But before hanging up, he said something that I still remember. If she starts making things look like someone is living there. He stopped. What? He whispered. She's inviting someone. Old family photograph on a wooden table showing a little girl standing in front of the same house. Present-day house visible blurred in background, mysterious vintage atmosphere, cinematic supernatural horror, 16:9. That night, I decided not to sleep. I sat in my bedroom with the lights off. At 2:47, I heard the kitchen light switch on. Then footsteps. 1, 2, 3, slowly moving across the downstairs floor. I checked the camera. The kitchen was empty. But the footsteps continued. Then I heard a chair move. I watched the camera. The chair moved by itself. Then something else happened. The front door opened. I could see the outside porch. Nobody was there. The door slowly closed. Then the hallway light came on. One by one. The lights throughout the house began switching on. Kitchen. Living room. Hallway. Stairs. Second bedroom. It was as if someone was walking through the house, turning every light on. Then I heard a child's voice. From downstairs. "Are you awake?" Digital clock displaying 2:47 a.m. on a dark bedside table. Homeowner awake in bed listening to faint footsteps downstairs. Moonlight through bedroom window. Intense suspense. Photorealistic cinematic horror. 16:9. I should have stayed upstairs. Instead, I went down. The voice came again. "Are you awake?" I reached the bottom of the stairs. The dining chair was pulled out. A small silhouette was sitting in it. I couldn't see the face. I whispered, "Mia." The figure didn't move. Then it slowly turned toward me and disappeared. The chair was empty. I ran into the kitchen. The child's drawing was sitting on the table. The same drawing I'd found days earlier. But this time there was something new written underneath. Not 5 words. 7. Thank you for letting him in. I didn't understand. Then I heard a man's voice behind me. She's not talking about me. I turned. Nobody was there. Terrified homeowner standing halfway down a staircase, looking toward a dimly lit living room where a small child's silhouette sits at the dining table, house lights glowing one by one, supernatural horror, cinematic photorealism, 16:9. The next morning, I searched the entire house. I found nothing. Then I remembered the attic. I had never opened it. Inside were boxes belonging to the previous owners. Old clothes, photographs, children's toys, and one box filled with drawings. All of them were made by Mia. The drawings showed the house, but there was always another figure inside. A tall black shape. Standing behind her, I found one final drawing. It showed Mia standing at the kitchen table. Across from her was a tall figure, and beside them was a person who looked exactly like me. Written underneath was, "He came after you." I dropped the paper. Then I heard footsteps behind me. From inside the attic. Dark attic in a modern house, boxes scattered across wooden floor, old family photographs, child's drawings pinned to a wall, flashlight beam revealing mysterious black handprints, cinematic supernatural horror, photorealistic 16:9. I turned around. The attic was empty, but the footsteps continued. They moved toward me. One step, then another. I backed toward the stairs. The air became freezing. Then I heard Mia's voice. "Don't look at him." I stopped. I didn't turn around. A man's voice whispered directly behind me. "She's lying." I ran. I didn't look back. I locked myself in my bedroom and called the police. They searched the house. Nothing. No intruder. No hidden room. No evidence. Nothing. I almost convinced myself that I was losing my mind. Until the police officer asked me one question. "Why is there a child's toy in your bedroom?" I looked at the floor. The red toy car was sitting beside my bed. I had left it downstairs. Dark attic doorway with a tall, shadowy, human-like figure standing motionless at the end of a hallway, terrified homeowner holding flashlight, child's drawings scattered on floor, intense supernatural horror, cinematic realism 16:9. I moved out 2 days later. Before leaving, I checked the cameras one final time. There was footage from the previous night. I almost deleted it. But I watched. At 3:17 a.m., my bedroom door opened. A shadow entered. It stood beside my bed. Then it leaned down, as if whispering something to the sleeping version of me. I couldn't hear the voice, but I could read the movement of its lips. 3 words. "You let me in." Then the figure turned toward the camera. For the first time, I saw its face. It wasn't Mia. It wasn't the previous owner. It wasn't anyone I'd ever seen. It looked like me. Exactly like me. Then the recording ended. Security camera footage on a laptop showing a dark bedroom at 3:17 a.m., a shadowy figure standing beside an empty bed, child's toy car on floor, eerie digital night vision, cinematic found footage horror 16:9. I never went back to that house. The property was sold again. I don't know what happened to the next owners. But about 6 months later, I received an email from someone I'd never met. It contained one sentence. "Do you know why the lights turn on at 2:47 every night?" There was a photograph attached. It was a picture of my old house. The kitchen light was on. The dining chair was pulled away from the table. And in the upstairs window, there was a silhouette. Someone was standing there, watching the camera. I deleted the email. But sometimes, even now, I wake up at 2:47 a.m. and I hear a chair moving somewhere downstairs. I live in an apartment now. There is no downstairs. No kitchen table. No old house. Nothing. At least, that's what I tell myself. Because last night I woke up at exactly 2:47. And from the other side of my bedroom door, I heard a child's voice whisper, "Are you awake?" I didn't answer. Then a man's voice whispered, "He knows you're here." The lights went out, and something slowly turned the handle of my bedroom door. The end empty modern house at night after the owner has moved away, warm lights mysteriously glowing in several rooms, one upstairs window showing a vague human silhouette, quiet suburban street, eerie supernatural mystery, cinematic photorealism 16:9. Thanks for watching. If you saw what others missed, join the hidden witness. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the shadows.